getting started in wrestling though, it did open the doors to painkillers and drinking and draws, and then eventually down the road harder stuff, other types of pills and powdered form stuff that go up your nose.
Sure. When you started drinking at such an early age, were your parents aware of it?
Oh yeah, mom and dad were always aware of it. Dad kind of shared some stuff with me as what he was like when he was a teenager. He was really early on when he had a bit of a fun time, let's say, and he learned pretty quickly that if I continue this lifestyle, it's not going to go right. Unfortunately, with me, I was addicted to being addicted to being the life of the party. So I always had to be around people all the time. Um, and when you start at such a young age and you start with drinking, it seems like a lot of fun. It does, because you're underage drinking. I mean, you're getting one of your buddies to talk to another buddy who has a fake ID. That's how I started drinking. Was when I got it, I felt, oh, I got it. I got my booze. It's gonna be fun, and then I down it like that, and then I'd be throwing up, or I'd be a dramatic fool, or whatever, right? But you're underage, and it's still fun, right? Because when there's something in us where when we get a bit of liquor or beer in us, and especially liquor, it just fires us up, and it could just be one drink, and then that's it, right? So I always knew that there was an addiction side to me.
When did you realize that? You started when you were 16. Around then, you say.
I'd say I knew that there was a part of me that could have been an alcoholic by the time I was 12. I don't know. No, there's no reason for me to be compensating. I mean, growing up, mom and dad gave me everything I needed and wanted. The only thing that you really need in life is love. That's about it. But anything that I wanted, from like hockey to skateboarding to being out with friends, and even when I was drinking, I was 17 years old, underage drinking, and I'd be at my buddy's house. They knew what I was doing, but they let it slide, So I mean, I was kind of spoiled, not like in a way. My mom and dad taught me so much, like with mannerisms and all that stuff. Because like growing up, as me and Tom growing up, my brother, parents would always say, be like, man, your kids are so like well behaved and polite, and mom and dad would be like, why don't they do that here, and it's like they taught us well. So like there was no reason for me to be compensating for anything. I think I have a general fear of failing, if that makes any sense. Maybe I know that's what it is. You can ask my better half and my family. I do have a fear of failing. So I mean, I guess when you're masking whatever it is that you're compensating for, that could be it. Maybe I'm figuring this out now.
Do you feel that if they had some form of a stronger intervention at that point in time, that you would have maybe pulled back more a little bit?
Absolutely not. Because and the reason I say that's because when I was in rehab, in the military, there was it was like a 30-day program, and at the end of it, we could have family members come in, and they would fly them in and everything like that too, right? So, I was living in Halifax, and I was like, Dad, come out. And but when Dad was out there, I remember we were sitting down, he was listening to everything that was going on, and I looked at him, and Dad is a very religious man. I don't even want to say religious. He's godly. Because there's difference. I think there's a difference between religious and godly. He's a strong man of God, and I just looked at him and I was like, Dad, if you just forced me to go to church and maybe took a better like you said, like kind of was a bit more strict. I want to win through this. And he looked at me and he was like, yeah, but what did you learn? Because up to that point, I already learned a bunch. I've already been in Edmonton, and you know, at that point, I was in the military and rehab. I was getting kicked out. So I mean, I did learn something, but that always stuck with me. That even up to now, it's like, what did you learn though? Is that we all gotta learn, and at some point, we all gotta learn on our own. Sometimes it has to be the hard way, unfortunately, and I love learning everything the hard way. Now, I mean, there's some people out there that, if they see me and they see my progress, they'll give me a handshake and all that stuff, but a part of them still sees me as what I was, right? And I can't blame them. I obviously cannot. For 9 years or so, when you're constantly drinking and making mistakes and constantly drinking and making mistakes, even if you're sober for 2 years, it's I mean that's 9 years compared to 2 years, right? Some people are like, no, you gotta be at least, I gotta be a changed man 100%, to I guess get their friendship back. But I'm not sober because of that. That's just. I don't regret anything I've ever done in my life, because if I did, then it wouldn't make me who I am now. Because if I regretted anything, I would feel like, yes, I did stuff that was wrong, but I learned from every mistake I've ever made. And even though it might have took me till, like I was making mistakes 4 years into my drinking to even my 7 years into my drinking and doing drugs, um, I learned something, because once I got clear, everything just started flowing in. Everything, it was just like, I opened the door, and all the knowledge that I meant to sink in from my parents and from my friends just all started just flowing in me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I know what's wrong. I know what's bad. I know what's good, and I know what's evil, and I know how to see two sides of every story.
Did you feel at one point in time that you just wanted to end it all and just to take your own life?
Um, yeah, yes and no, cause I was too much of a coward to do it, to actually, like, put a noose around my neck, or whatever. Um, and I think it was because when I was 19, I was at my buddy's house, and there's some of my friends now that are still around from this situation, but we we were partying in his house, and when we woke up, he hung himself, and we found him. And I think after seeing that, um, that terrified me from ever having thoughts of actually killing myself. But when you're an addict, you're you're technically you're committing suicide every night. Because I'd go out and I would drink anywhere from a minimum of 15 drinks to 30, 40 drinks, and then plus I'd probably have anywhere from $100 worth of drugs in my system. And I'm talking hard drugs. I'm not just talking about a bit of dope. I'm straight up being an idiot. um oh, I got a shiver just then, just thinking about it, just doing it. Well, first off, I'm going to say this: I have a daughter, so that's the easiest thing. Anytime I have any sort of trigger that might hit me, I go, Isabel, that's crushed. That thought is crushed by her, and Jill, my loving co-pilot. Let's call her. So when you're into drugs and everything, like, it could be fun at first, but you keep piling that on and piling that on and piling that on. Your two options after is jail or death. That's it. It's that simple. Do you want to live? You want to die? And you know what? Some people out there don't have, they don't have close parents to them, and I understand. But I have parents that loved me and did everything for me, and they gave me life. And if I went out the way that I went out, that's disrespectful to them, because they gave me life and they taught me everything that they know, and they're smart. My parents are the smartest people that I know. And for me to go out like that, that's disrespectful to them. And I can't do that to them.